Today I'm going to give you a quick lesson on how to pay with numbers. Do spare a few minutes to watch this video because what I'm going to show you are important skills not just confined to properties. They are useful to anyone and can be applied across the board. These tricks are easy to learn and easy to apply. Are you ready to start? The first trick is adjust the highest mark automatically. Last month, my daughter came back from school and happily shared with me the results of her Chinese exam. Hey mommy, I got 21 this time. Wow, this is excellent. Go and tell your daddy that you get 21 out of 25. He will be very happy for you. Then my daughter said, it is not 21 out of 25. It is 21 out of 40. But 21 is very good already. Many people failed the paper this time. But my daughter taught me one important thing. Any score can be a high score just by lowering the full mark. So long as my girl gives me the impression that the score is 21 or 25 or 84% of her exam, we are all happy and we can go celebrate. It doesn't matter about the actual performance. Any score is a good score by automatically adjusting the highest mark. Think new launch projects. Any sales number is an impassive sales number by automatically adjusting the number of units launched according to the number of units sold. Recently, the media said One Pearl Bank sold 160 out of 200 units launched on the first weekend. An article headline said, developer managed to move 80% of the units. But isn't the project has a total of 774 units and 160 units is only 20% sold? Never mind, it may be in the interest of Singapore Property Holdings, Singapore PES Holdings, to show that new projects are moving. And the public may not mind the headline, most of 200 One Pearl Bank units launched for sale slap up. Who cares to read the full article anyway? Never mind the fact that these days, headlines are not necessarily related to the content of the articles. We forgot since when those new launches reported in the media are all selling well. What puzzles me is if there were a few thousand eager buyers at the preview and during weekend launch there were 500 buyers handing out their checks. Do you think the developer would launch only 200 units and insist on holding back the rest of the 500 plus units? How likely is the developer prefers to spend more advertising dollars for subsequent launches, pay more to upkeep the sales gallery, and take their sweet time to sell, especially in a weakening economy? The second trick, only show the good numbers. The next thing equally confusing to the consumers is the number of turnouts at those launch previews is never in proportion to the number of real buyers at launch weekend. We have 4,000 at the One Pearl Bank weekend preview, but only 160 bought at the end. The conversion rate is just 4%. If the developers could only move tens of units off the shelves, who are the rest of the thousands of people coming for the previews? Are they all property agents? Or people who came because they have nothing much to do after seeing the Jewel and Funan? What is the point of spending millions to build a sales gallery, advertise heavily, and invite thousands to come? The third thing that we consumers never know is whether the reported number of units sold are the actual number of units sold. 2 weeks ago, there is a Straits Times article titled, New home sales in June dropped 14% from May. One of the June top sellers, Park Britannia, booked 60 units. But according to the ULA data, the project has 51 returned units in June and 21 returned units in May. So what makes them one of the top sellers? The problem of high number of returned units every month is still there. Have ULA ever stepped up to improve the accuracy of data reported by the developers, especially to the media? Well, so long as the industry stakeholders and the media want to show the public there is still strong buying interest in new projects and the market is still resilient, I guess as readers, we don't have a choice. After all, good news is better than no news. These days, new launch projects that can't sell are not even covered by the media. This makes it even more difficult to keep track of what is really happening in the property market. In case anyone's still interested to know the actual number of units or percentages of units sold for new launch projects, here is the table to show boring real sales figures from the ULA website's update in July as of yesterday. So you have a better idea of which projects are more popular and which are not selling. The last trick is show a dramatic jump in performance. If you work in sales and marketing, after some time you would know how to present your numbers in good light. The trick is always pick the lowest baseline for comparison so that you can show a dramatic jump in performance. You may be the underdog every quarter, but it doesn't matter. Your advantage is your baseline is low. Your number may be negative last quarter, so any slight increase this quarter can show a sudden spike in performance. Bloomberg has a recent article on Singapore home prices on the rise again 1 year after curbs. There is a paragraph with the heading International Interest. The journalist said, the number of buyers jumped by 46% quarter on quarter. I was about to cheer until I read the numbers from 173 units to 253 units. That explains the 46% jump. 173 units is only 5.1% of the total number of units sold last quarter, and 253 units is a mere 6% of the total transactions this quarter. So how significant is the 46% jump from 173 to 253? In 2017, foreign buyers stepped up 1,600 homes. In 2018, it was 1,212. For this first half of this year, we only have a total of 424 foreign buyers. So where is the jump? Mind you, our so-called foreign buyers also include those living in Singapore for very long but still waiting for the approval of their PR. So where is the international interest coming from? Let me summarize the 3 tricks we learned today. The first trick is always adjust the highest mark automatically. The next trick, only show the good numbers. Lastly, pick the lowest baseline for comparison and show a dramatic jump in performance. Remember, practice makes perfect. Fake it until you make it. If you want to learn more tips and tricks about properties, check out my blog at propertyshow.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember to like my video and see you again in our next episode.